Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
A faulty DPFE sensor can cause a number of problems: increased emissions, rough idling, hesitation, reduced engine power, reduced fuel efficiency, emissions, failure, engine light on. However, these symptoms are not exclusive to a faulty DPFE, Differential Pressure Feedback EGR, sensor. You should therefore test the DPFE sensor to make sure it is faulty. The following sections will help you diagnose the problem. The vehicle repair manual for your particular model can be a great help in dealing with your EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, system. The manual will tell you how your model's system is set up and how it works, as well as the appropriate tests you can carry out at home. If you don't already have this manual, you can purchase a relatively inexpensive copy from Amazon. The Haynes manual comes with step-by-step procedures, system descriptions, maintenance schedules, as well as illustrations, photographs, and wiring diagrams. 1. DPFE sensor function. 2. DPFE sensor failure. 3. DPFE sensor test video, test tips. 4. DPFE sensor vacuum voltage relationship. 5. Dealing with a faulty DPFE sensor. 1. DPFE sensor function. The DPFE sensor is part of the EGR system. This system allows a certain amount of exhaust gas to return to the cylinders for reburning. This helps to reduce heat during the combustion process, which in turn prevents the formation of highly toxic nitrogen oxides, NOx, and detonation. The Powertrain Control Module, PCM, your car's computer, uses the DPFE sensor to monitor the flow of exhaust gases to the intake manifold, which carries the gases to the cylinders. Using the voltage signal from the DPFE sensor, the PCM decides whether to open or close the EGR valve, depending on the information it receives from the other sensors. 2. DPFE sensor failure. 2. DPFE sensor failure. For the most part, DPFE sensors are highly reliable and can operate correctly for up to 10 years or more. However, a DPFE sensor can fail and disrupt engine performance. Heat and moisture in exhaust gases are DPFE's main enemies. Corrosion can build up inside the sensor housing, reducing the sensor's sensitivity to EGR flow. As a result, a faulty DPFE can send false information to the Powertrain Control Module. Most of the time, a bad DPFE sensor will trigger a P0401 code. But, if the sensor signals too little gas flow, the PCM may open the EGR valve when it shouldn't, creating a lean condition, eventually. This may trigger a P0171 or P0174, lean mixture, code, instead of a P0401, insufficient EGR flow, code. This condition can lead to misfiring. You'll feel the car stumble and hesitate while cruising. Using a digital multimeter. 3. DPFE sensor test. 3. DPFE sensor test. This simple test can help you diagnose your car's DPFE sensor. However, depending on your particular model, the test may not be conclusive. You can find this information in the vehicle repair manual for your particular make and model. Always consult the DPFE sensor specifications for your particular model before deciding whether your sensor is good or bad. You'll find the specifications in your vehicle's repair manual. 4. DPFE sensor vacuum voltage relationship. As atmospheric pressure rises in the intake manifold, the voltage signal from the DPFE sensor increases. The following table shows an example of the vacuum voltage relationship that can be produced by a common DPFE sensor. When the throttle opens, a pressure differential is registered by the sensor, increasing the voltage signal. DPFE voltage vacuum relationship. A problem with the ground side of the sensor circuit could be read by the PCM as the highest pressure difference level, in inches of mercury, generating a high voltage signal, around 4.58 voltage in our table. This can cause the PCM to command the EGR valve to stay open more than it should, depending on operating conditions. This will make the fuel mixture too lean. On the other hand, a fault on the positive side of the sensor circuit could be read by the PCM as the lowest level of pressure difference in Hg, generating a low voltage signal, around 0.55 volts in our table. This may cause the PCM to instruct the EGR valve to stay closer than it should, depending on operating conditions. This will lead to an increase in engine temperature and NOx emissions. When testing your DPFE sensor, consult your repair manual for the specifications of your model. 5. Dealing with a faulty DPFE sensor. Whenever you suspect a problem with the EGR system, including the DPFE sensor, it's important to know how your model's system is configured and how it works. This makes it easier to diagnose a system problem. And then test the sensor, using the specifications listed in your repair manual. Also check the hoses and, if necessary, test the EGR valve too. Sometimes, a problem in another part of the system can cause a DPFE sensor to report the wrong information. Most of the time, a DPFE sensor will trigger a P0401 code. You should always confirm whether the sensor is faulty or whether a system fault has occurred. You may be dealing with a partially blocked passage, a faulty EGR valve, or a vacuum leak. You can find most of the information you'll need in your vehicle's repair manual. This content is accurate to the best of the author's knowledge and is not intended to substitute for formal, individualized advice from a qualified professional. In conclusion, diagnosing a DPFE sensor problem involves a systematic approach that includes visual inspections, testing voltage and resistance, and checking for any vacuum leaks. By following these steps, you can accurately identify issues with the sensor and ensure your vehicle runs smoothly. Remember, if you're ever in doubt, consulting a professional mechanic is always a wise choice. Thank you for watching, and we hope this guide has helped you understand how to tackle DPFE sensor diagnostics effectively.